episode of Quilt with the Stars is brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing, and Koala Cabinets, sewing furniture custom built in America. Hello out there. You're watching Quilt with the Stars. I'm Mary Fons, and I'm here with Melanie Greseth from TailorMade, one half of the dynamic duo.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, you are dynamic, along with your sister Joni, who is, you are a creative resource.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what that means.
We design things, quilts, garments, anything to highlight fabrics. The fabrics are from multiple different fabric companies that we work with, and they just call us when they need something for their fabric line.
And they call you a lot, and they need a lot, and you're able to produce a lot.
Yes.
You were telling me too that you are, you both design and produce, but that there's a really great partnership with you and your sister. You need to create a lot, and you work together to do that. Beautiful.
Yeah, we do. I have a design background, and Joni just inherently is very creative herself. So we have different skill sets, but we really work together well, and we brainstorm, we come up with fun ideas, and we have a great team of people that work with us to create these wonderful things.
And we're going to look at those things now. This is darling. Tell me about this project.
This was a fabric line that was just really fresh and modern, and we did do some quilts with it as well. But we wanted something a little more three-dimensional in our displays at the market, so we came up with this cute little dress that we had on a mannequin and the complementing purse. And we also try to make it attractive to that quilter customer. So we did do the piecing in the skirt, and it's layered. It's no zippers, because quilters don't like zippers.
No, we don't.
But it's a fairly easy project to put together.
Really great. You know, these fabrics that are so popular right now are perfectly suited for little dresses like this. They're just adorable. And now this is a holiday project with lots of different components.
Our challenge was, this is a panel. Our manufacturer, Benartex, had this line, and this had a panel which included this piece, these images, and then the images, these 4 images. So our challenge was, if a quilter was to buy this panel, what could they do with it? And so we pulled it apart. We added a few of the complementing fabrics. We made little window hangers for your kitchen windows, potholders, coasters. This is a door hanger to hang your Christmas cards on, and then we trimmed some towels. So we try to think through, how could somebody make a wonderful hostess gift with buying a 1-yard panel?
And you use the word challenge. You know, our challenge was, do you see that as, when you get it's a challenge, it's a problem to solve.
It is. It's very problem solving.
And you had a problem to solve with this, right? Tell me first, what are strike-offs? Tell me what that is.
Strike-off fabric is when, in the process of designing fabric, the manufacturer, the mill overseas, will send small pieces of fabric where it's hand screen printed to get the color correct, and then make sure the designs are correct and everything.
And that's the last time you can make any changes, right?
You can make tiny little changes, but oftentimes, because of the schedule, the fabric company wants to highlight this at their market, but we don't actually have fabric. We only have strike-off fabrics.
That's a problem.
Which are maybe...
It's a challenge.
Yes, it's a challenge. And it's maybe only 12 by 12 in many cases. And so we got this pile of strike-off fabric the week before market.
Hello.
And make something. And they usually just say, make something. So luckily with EQ, we can do the math, and we can figure out how many pieces, how many squares can I get out of this dot?
Not many.
Not many, but we can do it. And
yes, you
do. This I strategically cut and got all our squares out, and I had literally just shreds of the fabric left. I made a little corsage for market.
That's why you do what you do, because you're solving problems like that all the time.
And we try to embellish and make it cute, and it was just enough to show off the fabric.
And it's adorable, and I bet people will ask you for this. By the way, what's your website? Can you give it the address?
Our website is sewquiltcraft.com.
Great.
And we have fabric kits and some of the fabrics and some patterns on there as well.
Check it out. Show me this.
Another dimensional piece. We try to do totes along with our quilts, just to show off another way to use the fabric.
Absolutely. Great for scrappy, you need to...
Carries everything.
Absolutely.
Needs to be big.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking a quilt to a long armor, It's hard to find a bag that's big enough for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into these quilts. Bring these over.
So,
the table runners first, yeah?
Yep, we've got some placemats.
Great.
And again, this is just different ways to highlight colorations of a line of fabric. Most fabric lines have several colorations.
Yes.
And that is also part of our challenge, is to show all the different fabrics. So this was one way to show the different gorgeous colorations of this line.
So autumn, autumnal, fall,
Yep.
beautiful.
Yep.
Great.
And this is also patterned and available.
On the website?
Actually,
Keepsakes
does kit this. Yep.
Sure. Okay, next up. Nice.
Just a simple Christmas runner. And I believe this was highlighted in one of the Love of Quilting magazines a while back.
It's great. It's so important to have these projects. It's not just for fun.
Right.
It's to help sell the fabric, because someone might look at that plaid and say, well, I really like that plaid, but I'm not sure how to use it. And so you're really giving them guidance and helping the fabric companies sell the fabric that they make, which of course is, that's their business.
That's the goal, and that's our job. I mean, that's the way we look at it too. It's a problem. One of the things we do try to do is to try to think outside the box a little bit as well. And this was a line a few years ago of paper dolls, and this was something we wanted to make interactive, so we did the paper doll clothes with batting on the back so that you can we have all different outfits for the little girls, and it actually does stick. The batting holds to the cotton fabric pretty well, so you probably wouldn't get a lot of nap time in, but it would be fun to play with.
Totally. This must have been popular.
It was. The paper dolls have been just a really fun trend to
absolutely
have. Yeah,
they're so cute. They're little night shirts.
And this, of course, we get all sorts of things. And again, not really having a style, but baby is fun to work with. This is a line from Blend Fabrics that we worked with last market, and it's just a playful line. And we try to, design off that. We did a little folded edge here just for a little dimension to it, something a little different.
Absolutely.
That adds a little texture to the quilt.
I'm so impressed by you all, how you can take any colorway, any fabric style, and serve that line. I mean, it's a skill that not everybody would have. Some people have one sort of aesthetic, they stick to it. I may be guilty of that, I don't know. My mom kind of does one thing. When she goes further afield, she has fun, whatever. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, same with me. But you all can really make it happen. I do want to point out that this fabric has hippopotamuses, giraffes, and dinosaurs. We're just, we're kind of, anyway, that's neither here nor there, but it's funny. And butterflies.
And again, this is another little playful line we worked with last market. We just had so much fun with it because we both have girls.
Oh my gosh.
And this, we added the purse. Just for a wall
and
hanging.
What a purse it is.
Yeah, it's very fun.
A little bling.
Yeah, it's called Glamour. And our display, we had covered boxes, and we had, high heel pink shoes with big puffy black puffs on them.
Yes.
So it just needed something a little dimensional for the display, which is
and
we have to think through that whole process when we're designing as well. So what goes on the wall? What goes in front of it? What pops?
And what catches the eye, right? Because there are many booths, so you need to really, that's part of selling, part of your job is to get people to look.
Right, exactly.
This is very cool.
So this was just, and it's very simple but fun.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
One of the other things is when we're working with patterns, because we do write patterns for a lot of the quilts that we do. Some are available through the manufacturer, and some are available on our website. Or this is the same quilt, but done in two different colorations to show just styling and how you can take, something that maybe is kind of earthy and make it more bright and punchy with the blue and the gold.
Oh, I love that gold, and that sort of denim blue is great. I have a question for you. I am seeing on the backs of your quilts some pretty basic muslin on pretty much everything. Can you tell me why?
Well, I think it's because it's production. I mean, we just work with so many quilts.
Yes.
And oftentimes we do get backing fabrics from our manufacturers, but we're kind of kick it out quilters.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have a lot to
Get it
do.
done.
Muslin's easy, and it's
just less expensive.
Less expensive for what we do. So
you just have it by the bale.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's great. Who did the quilting on this? This is lovely. Do you remember? You might not remember, but I know you.
I think Amy Albrecht did the red one, and I think Naomi Paulzine did the blue one.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, we have a
team.
great team. Yep, they both are very talented ladies.
Cool. So many long armors.
Yep.
They just are, aren't they? So good.
And I think we work with a couple of the companies we work with do reproduction fabrics. And so we also do a lot of research when we're designing for a line of fabric, especially with the reproduction, to try to find patterns and designs that complement that fabric. This line was called Newtown Commons, and so we did the Boston Commons design with it to kind of enhance the fabrics, and it was it turned out beautifully.
It's my favorite so far.
Yeah, and
I love it.
We actually, when we wrote the pattern on this, we did it as a strip quilt.
Yes.
And side note, Joni put this together and did a beautiful job, of course.
Nice job, Joni.
Put it together, held it up for her husband before it was quilted, mind you. It was just the top, and he said, I think something's wrong. And her eyes got big. She had flipped one of the rows. Oh. And so it was like she didn't notice it when she was sewing it.
But he caught it.
Oh, he caught it. Yeah, thank God, before it was quilted.
Yeah, no kidding.
So she had to rip and tear a little bit out before
you really don't have time to unquilt something.
No,
this
really.
is stunning. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Very cool.
And this is popular now, bed runners for the end of beds.
Yes.
And so we also try to follow trends and have available patterns and designs that complement that. And again, in colorations and doing something more in a traditional Civil War reproduction fabric and something in a little more bright.
These are different rooms, aren't they?
Very different rooms, but the same pattern and the same quilt design.
I love quilting.
Isn't it fun?
I mean, look at that. They're completely different, but they're the same, but they're different.
Yep.
I'm getting very deep. They're the same, but they're different.
Yeah.
No, it's great. And you have the skill to be able to see it before it's even made in the different ways that it could be.
Right.
We have a couple more quilts here, and then we're going to take a look at a few on the wall. So bring out the next.
This was just something that was very light and airy. The line, we really needed to find a way to highlight it that was just softer.
Yes, absolutely.
And I do like circles, so it comes from Joni, not so much. But
is that right?
Yeah, well, because she ends up sewing more of them than I do.
She's like, I don't really like
and
circles.
this also was a challenge because we had a panel to work with. So these were art panels, and how do you work that into a quilt without just like putting the panel in it? You know.
Exactly.
So that's kind of where we started with this, but it was fun, and it
challenge.
was a great way for it to turn out.
They're like, the circles turn into sort of like dandelions that are being blown away.
Yeah.
It's really, really cute.
And these are a couple just big ones that we had fun with. This is one of our kids' favorites. I'm trying to see which way it goes.
Of course.
With our fish.
Little fish.
And it's a very graphic line. This was done by the line was by Griffin, and it was, it had these elements of ocean and sea, but it was still very graphic. So this was just a fun way to enhance that line.
This is kind of like a Greek motif. It's like a Mediterranean ocean. Oh, it's awesome.
So yeah, it was fun to put together.
Man, you guys are good. You know, at the beginning I was folding these so nicely. Now I'm kind of like,
no,
I'm like sort of
together.
poofing them over. Oh, I like the back of this one, like burlap or something.
Yeah, that was part of the line, which was kind of a sand. And this was a fun one that we did. And this is an applique, like Joni did in her demonstration. It's just a raw edge applique.
Circles to thwart your sister.
Yeah, and I torture her that way. But these are pieced, and then we appliqued the center circle off center.
Great.
So we're trying to play off the circles, but not quite circles. So it kind of makes it fun that way.
Totally fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the quilt that is on the wall to our right. This one has been featured in, or will be featured in Love of Quilting magazine. That's where you can find it. Tell me, we did a how-to segment on this quilt.
And that again is the raw edge applique, and just meant to be a fun patio table square or something like that, or a throw quilt on your patio. It's a new line from Contempo Fabrics, which is a subsidiary of Tex, and they are just launching that at the spring market this year. So.
Very cool in color. That's
very bright contemporary fabrics, which is fun to work with. We really enjoy working with all the different kinds.
It shows this is a very exuberant project. Now let's come over here. Speaking of contemporary, and tell me about this.
That's another contemporary line. Simple. It looks more difficult than it is. It's 3 blocks, 3 big blocks with the circles appliqued. And it's a pattern that has just gotten a lot of attention because I think of the modern quilt movement. It's a simple beginner quilt. I mean, I know it doesn't look beginner, but it's got pattern pieces.
Yep, big
So,
shapes,
big
pattern
shapes,
pieces.
simple, put together.
Looks
so it's
kind of
fun.
that improv look.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Very fun.
And then our little Christmas
This is
tree.
our fun dimensional piece. This is just a very 3-inch blocks with this, your little quilted boughs sewn right in the seam. Little pom poms. This is a printed border.
Yep.
So it's very simple put together as well.
It's almost not a cheater fabric. I mean, but it looks a little bit like you
Yeah.
spent a lot of time piecing
Yeah.
little tiny squares.
Yeah, but it's not.
And if you can show me here, what is our last project that we're looking at?
This is an Anna Griffin line from last spring, Shineseri, and Anna always has a theme to her fabrics, and so this was very Asian Oriental, and she wanted something geometric, and she's great to work with because we really bounce off each other well, and so we presented a couple designs. This is one she picked, and I love the way it turned out.
I love it too.
Yeah.
The interlocking shapes.
Yeah.
It's cool. You know, while we have you here, can you show me where the block is? Because I
It's
really had
a
trouble.
big block.
I'm gonna kind of switch it up, and we're gonna go to the quilt and look
Yeah.
because I don't think people can see.
It's a very large block. It's just not, 6 blocks that are like from here to here, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And so cool.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys are solving problems pretty well. Well, let's come back to the table, and I can sort of thank you officially,
Yeah.
Melanie, for coming to Quilt with the Stars. And as we go, what is when you get your assignment? What's the first thing that you do? Do you go to the computer? Do you sit down with graph paper? What is the first?
Some of both,
Yeah,
actually.
okay.
I guess Jody and I spend a lot of time talking through it. We brainstorm a lot. We have different reference books, or there's a lot of resources for references, but typically we just kind of brainstorm, and then we go to EQ or graph paper, depending on what our idea is.
Yeah.
Sometimes EQ works, sometimes it's easier to scribble. I'm a doodler, so
Me too.
I tend to scribble first, and then we kind of try to work it out mechanically.
Cool.
Then.
I ask because not only is it part of what you do and part of what we want to learn about you, but also, people who are designing at home, that's how it happens. You
Yeah.
know, if you want to design something from scratch, that's what you'll do too. You
Yep.
scribble, you go to the computer, you talk to your friends, you brainstorm,
Yep.
get out your colored pencils,
Yep.
and that's how these things are created.
Yep.
Thank you, Melanie,
You're
so much
welcome.
for coming on
Yeah,
the show.
it's been fun.
Good. We'll see you next time on
All
Quilt
right.
with the Stars. Bye.
This episode of Quilt with the Stars is brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing, and Koala Cabinets, sewing furniture custom built in America.